ServiceNow stock is pumping again. So let's talk about why this could be potentially the next stock that's a safe investment, by the way, to run 100% or more within the next 12 months. Let's talk about it. It's super relevant right now. Everyone's asking about ServiceNow. I started buying even, so we'll go over my position, what I'd like to see out of it, and just price targets. Let's talk about why it should hit those and maybe even exceed some expectations. So in a super quick and straightforward video, here's what you need to know about ServiceNow right now. Let's talk about their earnings coming up. This could potentially affect the stock price in a huge way. They're about to report earnings next month, basically this month. I mean, we're only a few days away from July on the 22nd. They've been beating their earnings, so I'm not expecting a flop here. I'm definitely not expecting a flop. If anything, considering that they've added a lot of major partnerships to their roster recently, I would expect some pretty good numbers to come out of this. Maybe not a huge beat, but some pretty good numbers. If you guys don't know already, ServiceNow is working with NVIDIA, so we'll talk about that because that's something to go over for sure. But they're working with NVIDIA, they're working with Microsoft, Google, OpenAI, Anthropic, so many big companies, even Oracle, another stock that I think is very, very, very well set up in today's market, because what we're seeing in 2026 is momentum and relevancy is really everything for stocks. So I'm looking at what can be the next stock to make me a ton of money it's really a sentiment shift, just like when I made 200% on Intel, 500 something percent on AMD going up, except that was in leverage, so even more. Moderna making me 200%, etc. Let's go over why this kind of pretty much aligns almost perfectly with my strategy. So it's down about 50% on the year. You guys know that pretty much anytime I'm putting a lot of money into a stock, it's a pretty relevant stock that is in a downtrend, and I'm looking to buy it ahead of short-term catalysts. So what do we know that's happened recently? Well, we did actually see some insider buys. We're seeing buying more than selling, so that's always good. Especially ahead of earnings. We don't want to see a lot of selling ahead of earnings. That's, speaks for itself. It's nothing crazy. But we did see Trump make a purchase on February 10th at $106. That's why I've been focused on buying this below $106. Now, did I miss opportunities to way lower my average? Yes. And honestly, it might not go to the 80s again. If it goes to the 80s again, I'll buy more. But I did want to keep my average below where he bought specifically, just because if he is to do something like he did with Palantir, it would be at a price that would probably pump it back above that entry. So that was a major purchase. It was a million, anywhere from $1 to $5 million buy. So I think he's taking it seriously in his portfolio, and so will I. It's a pretty big position in my portfolio now, making me $1,400 on Friday, so yesterday, except of course because I have a higher average cost, I'm not up on the position quite yet. But that doesn't matter. I would like to be down on this for as long as possible so I can buy more shares. Let's talk about why. How quickly should it hit its price target of $141? Well, we already saw actually very recently, literally this month, we saw it at 135. It was super hyped up. Even now, everyone's talking about ServiceNow. But I think 140 is not necessarily guaranteed, but we basically already saw that this same month. So I think it's super possible. If earnings go well, we could even see 150. But let's go over kind of what we're seeing to understand how quickly it could potentially be a $200 stock. Remember, this was a $200+ stock back in 2024. Even recently, as soon as very late 2025, it was basically a $200 stock. So let's talk about it. ServiceNow is working with NVIDIA. We already went over that, but the CEO does like to talk about other companies, and we've seen that with Marvel. We've seen that with a smaller semiconductors, Navitas, NVTS. We saw that last summer, and that pumped. So if he starts to talk about ServiceNow, bulls who are really controlling the market these days could pile in and really pump this. Not really something I'm relying on, honestly. It's just a bonus. It's just something extra out there, really. We already knew this. 85% of the Fortune 500 companies use ServiceNow. Their revenue's basically guaranteed. They don't have to worry about major companies kind of backing away, or major streams of revenue backing away because of the companies they're working with. So we went through some of them, of course, Microsoft, Google, NVIDIA, OpenAI, Anthropic. I've talked about that a lot on social media, Oracle, etc. They have a lot of great partnerships, but that's expanding because Oracle is literally firing 20+% of their workforce. Meta is firing their workforce to get replaced with agents, AI agents, from primarily from ServiceNow. We see some from UiPath as well, which we'll get into in another video because that could potentially be a great investment as well. But ServiceNow, I think right now at least, is more relevant. Now, so that's great. That's a great statistic to have. And of course, this is something I wanted to highlight. There's potential for their already existing paying customers, which are paying a lot of money. These are big companies to then go and upgrade their subscriptions if they're seeing good results. And because of kind of the shift to AI that we're seeing right now, I think that's likely to happen. I think companies like Oracle that are replacing their employees with AI are definitely going to take advantage of top tier subscriptions and just go all in on that. So that is something that just kind of ties into what we're seeing right now. The market is moving with momentum and with what's relevant. This is relevant. This is very AI focused, literally with what's going on in the market right now. That being said, when could it hit $200+ again? Well, I would have to assume this could be a $200, maybe higher stock, within about 1.5 years based off what we've seen before, based off the moves it's had before, but also considering how much we're seeing right now, how many short-term positive catalysts we're seeing right now for the stock. I would anticipate this to be a 140+ stock very soon, so hit its price target very soon within maybe 6 months by the end of the year, and then start heading for that $200 range. So I'll be trimming for sure on the way up because I know I'll be able to invest those gains into other companies in the meantime. But I think something like that is very, very possible. So I'm super excited to see how ServiceNow does. If you have any questions, comment them down below. And of course, make sure to join the community. I alert literally every trade in there live. We just closed out a 67% gainer, a 300% gainer, and a 600% gainer. So we've been going crazy in there with long and short-term investments. Have a great day and make sure to subscribe.